Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's the final days of our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Dari, Nowkhah, 15 minutes. Talk a little Oklahoma Sooners. Lee Sterling at the end of this hour. We'll get Lee's best bets for the weekend. Lee's usually with us on Thursdays, but no show, obviously, on Thanksgiving. So we'll get Lee's best bets coming up a little bit later this hour. The news that we had anticipated did come on Tuesday. The Saints, after working out several place kickers, did in fact cut Blake Grupe and have reportedly signed former LSU Tiger Cade York. This should come as no great surprise. Maybe the only surprise that they cut Blake Grupe is because the Saints finally held someone accountable for being bad at their job. That's something they don't really like to do. But you can like Blake Grupe, and I think he was a really interesting story, right? The UDFA out of Notre Dame, the story about him getting stopped by the security guard at the stadium who didn't realize he was actually on the team. You know, we had a chance at Media Row at Super Bowl to talk to Blake Grupe. I mean, he was bebopping around one day as we were starting a show. I believe it was like literally the first segment of the show. It was it our first day? Was it Monday?
It was Monday, February the 3rd.
Yeah, so the first day of Media Row, before I'm going on, Blake Grupe's just walking around Media Row. So we snag him, and he comes and sits down with us. Like, we literally started our entire Super Bowl week with Blake Grupe, and he really kind of expressed how much he and his wife or fiance, is married or fiance?
Girlfriend is what he referred to her as.
Were loving living in New Orleans.
A lot more, access to training down here. The facility is literally right down the street. Warmer weather. I'm an outdoors guy. Like fishing, hunting. I've done all kinds of stuff down here that different critters than in Missouri. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's been fun. I enjoy it down here. Good weather, good golf. My girlfriend's from around here. She's from Morgan City. So it's been awesome. I really enjoy it down here, and I'd honestly really call it my home right now.
So there's that piece of it where you can feel terrible about it for the person. And I think Blake Grupe was very much like that. As I was told someone at the Saints facility today that when he was cut, he had tears in his eyes. And I understand it, man. I mean, it's the first time in his career he's gone through that after making the team. And the Saints kind of made a commitment to him in 2023. And it's just, it comes to this where he didn't deliver. I mean, ultimately, the NFL is a production business. You're getting better, you're getting worse. And unfortunately, Blake Grupe cost this team opportunities to win games. You look at that final score against Arizona. He in that opener, missed a kick from inside of 40. You lost that game 20-13, but you'd have been driving for a potential game-winning score there at the end of that game. A week later against San Francisco, he missed a kick. You lost that one 26-21. You lost by 5. You would have an opportunity, been within 3, to be driving for a game-winning field goal instead of needing a touchdown there. I'm not saying you would have won these games, but it changes the whole dynamic of these games. He missed one against Seattle. He missed 2 against the Giants. He was 4 of 6 that day. And then he hit 4-4 in the game against New England, but then he just kept missing. He missed another one against the Bears. He had made 3 in a row, one each against Tampa, the Rams, and Carolina. But then, man, on Sunday, missing 2 kicks from inside of 50 yards, one from inside of 40. You got to be able to convert a 38-yarder and a 47-yarder automatic in the NFL. And right now, Blake Grupe leads the league with 8 misses. He's 18 of 26, 69.2%, when the standard, the threshold in the NFL is going to be above 80% to be an NFL kicker. And he's below 70. There's just no justification for continuing to allow him to run out there and cost your team opportunities. So it's what it is, man. And the sort of insult to injury here is this comes on the same day. The Saints were working out kickers a day ago, the same day that Denver signed Will Lutz to a contract extension. And my goodness, Broncos Twitter's having a field day with this one. The Broncos 365 Twitter account has this post, Sean Payton doesn't miss, quote tweeting Ari Myrov, noting that the Saints are releasing Blake Grupe after he missed 2 field goals on Sunday, and New Orleans traded Lutz to Denver in 2023 in order to make Blake Grupe their kicker. Way to go, Mick. You picked wrong again. And you just think about what a disaster special teams have been for this team. The atrocity it was early in that game against Seattle, Grupe's misses. You've totally missed on Kai Kroger, who might be the worst punter in the league right now. I mean, even just think back to letting Thomas Morstead go, who's still in the league kicking consistently. You're just a terrible front office that has just missed consistently draft, free agency, your own players. I mean, Caden Ellis is out there hip drop tackling Alvin Kamara over the weekend. I mean, he's a starting linebacker in the NFL. You just keep missing over and over again. It's why it's hard for me to feel any degree of confidence that this front office, the one that got you into this mess, is going to get you out of it. Well, you have to have a kicker. Kellen Moore was asked on Monday if Charlie Smyth was an option. Remember, it was part of the international program, was battling with Grupe in camp for the job.
Yeah, he's definitely part of this process. He gets better each and every week. He gets to go through this journey. Obviously, it's been a fun journey for him, unique. Joining the NFL with the international program. I thought training camp, he kicked it really well, and you could see the progress he made through preseason. And he continues to get his kicking sessions in each and every week. He gets a couple of those each week, just like the starters do, and so provides him that opportunity to continue to grow as well. So Charlie Smyth is there, and then we find out that the New Orleans Saints also added former LSU Tiger Cade York. Now, York is York's one that if he can ever figure it out, could be awesome. He's only 24 years old, and he was a 4th round pick of the Cleveland Browns back in the 2022 draft. So you're talking about a guy in Cade York who was that physically gifted that an NFL team used a 4th round pick on a kicker. And in his rookie season in 22, he just struggled in Cleveland in 22. And then in 24 was with 2 different teams, Washington and Cincinnati, and then has not kicked in the NFL yet this year. So for his career,
Cade York is 33 of 45 on field goals. That's 73%. Again, not good enough. It's why he's been sort of a vagabond kicker here. But the ability is undeniable. Listen, Kevin Stefanski was the coach there in Cleveland that drafted Cade York in the 4th round and talked about, this was back in August of 2023. So it was in training camp of 23 when they cut him before his second year in the NFL. So he played that rookie season for Cleveland, then got cut and didn't kick in the NFL in 2023, at least not in a game. This was Stefanski on why they moved on from Cade York.
I think, as you can imagine, Tom, those are conversations you have throughout training camp, throughout this whole month, things that you talk about internally, and ultimately, Andrew felt like the decision there would bring in a veteran kicker, and we're excited to add Dustin to this group. He'll be here today. It's a tough decision. All these are tough decisions, but those are all things that you're constantly talking about.
So from being cut at the start of his second season to some highs, look, he set a Cincinnati Bengals record with a 59-yarder back in December a season ago. This was the call.
Good snap. The kick has the distance, and it is good. Boy, he got it by the skin of his teeth. And York with a 59-yarder to get the Bengals a 17-0 halftime lead.
So the leg talent is undeniable. If he can ever develop consistency, he could be an awesome kicker. We'll see how it goes for the remainder of the season as the Saints are trying to figure out help on special teams, just like trying to figure out help everywhere on that roster. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Drink Evamore, natural artesian water, better tasting water, a healthier form of hydration, a better form of hydration. Y'all, with cold and flu season coming around, you got to stay hydrated. You want to help your immune system? Drink plenty of water, stay hydrated. Drink a better form of hydration. Drink Evamore, a great Louisiana product, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Drink Evamore. Ask for it by name at great local retailers. Okay, let me knock out a break. Come back, talk a little bit about the Sooners. Dari Nowkhah of the SEC Network will be here. Stick around with us. Glad you're here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
AFR.
If you got pain that you've dealt with for a long time, you've just lived in pain, or maybe you recently had surgery or some type of injury and you're struggling to recover from it, you know there are non-surgical, non-pharmaceutical options that are amazing. You can find them at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I do a daily injection in my back. A tiny little needle, you don't even feel it. But I do it daily. And I'm feeling as good as I have felt and for as long as I can remember. But there's also non-pharmaceutical options for things like anxiety and gut health and libido and so many other things. If you want to feel your best, live your fullest life, man, life's too short to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. Let them help at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. The Tigers are on the hunt. Let's head behind enemy lines to preview this week's matchup.
Gritty, a guy who does the things that are asked of him. May not be the most prolific quarterback in the SEC, but he finds a way to make the plays for them when those plays are needed, whether they're in the pass game or the run game. Leadership, I think he shows that moxie, the spunk that you want from your quarterback. Does a very good job for their football team and leading them to the position they're in now, which is a top 10 team in the country.
That's Frank Wilson talking about Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer. The Tigers and the Sooners Saturday in Norman. First time ever these two will tangle there in Norman, Oklahoma. Dari Nowkhah, SEC Network. Also, middays on the ref there in Norman and OKC. Good to have you, man. How are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you, man?
Boy, that's a really complicated question to ask after the last month we've had, Dari. I'm just going to say I'm doing great, and we'll just move on. Hey,
yeah, that's good.
This is, I would imagine Saturday is going to be a massive environment with the college football playoff on the line. Give me some sense, Dari, if you would, the significance of this game for the Oklahoma program.
It's absolutely massive, Matt. I remember about a month ago sitting there, and Oklahoma was 6-2, and we were having daily conversations about, man, that last 4-game stretch is pretty nasty. At Tennessee, at Bama, and then Mizzou and LSU at home. And what would it take? What would they have to go to not have to make a coaching change? Is 2-2 good enough? 3-1 seemed like a real stretch. 1-3 maybe would be possible. I mean, that's a pretty gross set of games to finish with after a brutal schedule. And now to realize we're sitting here, on Tuesday going into that game, and they're 3-0 in that stretch, and now with a chance to get somewhere that nobody realistically, you'd hear people that would kind of just off the cuff, kind of randomly pick, I think OU could be a playoff. I don't think anybody that really follows them every day believed that, not with the schedule they had. And so that makes this game absolutely enormous. I think people thought clearing the Missouri hurdle would be tougher than clearing the LSU hurdle. And now that the Missouri hurdle is cleared, I think everybody's now focused clearly on LSU and just hoping that Oklahoma comes out with the focus and the attention to detail needed. But it's huge. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere, man. The weather, from what I understand, is not going to be very good, but the atmosphere should be great.
Dari, the first month of the season, John Mateer was awesome. Then he had the hand injury. We all saw what happened against Texas. The stats really haven't been there, but, I mean, you watch every snap of every game. So give me a sense, if you would, of maybe how much better John Mateer has played since we saw him in that loss to Texas.
Well, there's times, Matt, when he's not playing any better. Now, they're not turning the ball over, so that's big. The last 2 games, no turnovers, and that certainly has mattered. In fact, you could go back to Tennessee 3 games ago, and there was an interception late in that fourth quarter on a pass that just never should have been called, never should have been thrown. But no, I mean, so he's taking care of the football. But I think the biggest thing is this is an offense that frankly does not look like it has any identity. It wants to run the ball, but it doesn't commit enough to it to really give it an opportunity to get going. And there's no downfield passing game, none. And I think that's a combination of receivers that just cannot get open down the field and John Mateer, who is not accurate throwing down the field. I think there are people that still want to blame the thumb or the hand. I'm not one of them by any stretch. I believe if he's played this much ball since that surgery, then he's healthy. I don't think that's it. And there's questions about a lot of his decisions. He'll have, for instance, in this last game against Missouri, he's got a receiver, Giovanni Gibson, on a quick slant on a 3rd and 2 that's wide open for a first down. And then he's got Satania covered tightly one-on-one down the field, and he makes the down-the-field throw. Well, the first down throw was right there. And I think, you watch enough of this team play, you can go back to the Texas game, the Ole Miss game, and see decisions that he made that just did not seem like that could possibly have been the best decision. So there's questions about all that. People love his makeup. They love his toughness. I like him in the run game. LSU has a really difficult time giving up, slowing quarterbacks down that can run. We know that. So maybe that's going to be a big piece of it. But it has not been a John Mateer that I think Oklahoma hoped to have. And it's some of its physical limitations, but some of it, frankly, is just decision-making in the moment.
Dari Nowkhah is with us at ESPN. Dari, also the ref there, Norman, from 9 to noon weekdays. Okay, so how do you sort of, we could quantify, but qualify the challenge against this LSU defense, which, Dari, is really good. And LSU's had to ask this defense to be outstanding all season, even have a shot because the offense is so bad. But let's just focus on that side of the ball. How do you think this Oklahoma offense matches up against a really talented LSU defense?
Yeah, I think they're going to want to utilize. I think you're going to probably see Mateer 15 to 20 designed runs because, we've seen, if you go back, and you've seen it, obviously, but I was just looking at some of these games in conference play and LSU against quarterbacks that can move. They give up, upwards of 200 yards on the ground against the Ole Misses and South Carolinas and, A&Ms. And I'm not saying Mateer is those guys, but he can certainly make plays on the ground. I think that's going to be a big thing. I don't know how much they try the halfback run. They just don't seem to commit to it. Their game is a lot of just short passes to the sideline. They need to utilize Jaron Kanek, the tight end, a little bit more and get the ball in Satania's hands as much as possible. I'd like to see Deion Burks get the football more. He's having a hard time getting open. It's been disappointing for him this year, no doubt, but I think that's what you're going to get. It's an offense that's a little bit looks discombobulated. It looks as though there's not really a plan. They talk all the time about doing enough to win, and it's a very conservative offense that does not want to turn the football over and put the defense in a bad spot. Because if they continue to win the field position game and with their special teams, they will. They've got the best kicker in the country and maybe the best punter in Grayson Miller. Don't hurt the defense. So you're going to see a lot of conservative play calling, short passes. They'll try the run game. I don't know how successful it'll be. And then I think what plays Mateer can make with his legs. He's the kind of quarterback that you can get him. You can get OU in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, but then he can break your back on with a 9-yard run to pick up a first down. And it's going to look choppy. That's just the way the offense looks. It's going to look choppy, and they're going to hope to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers, and that's Isaiah Satania's playmaker number one.
So what you're telling me is take the under in this football game.
I was just told. I didn't know what the over-under was. I was just told 36.5.
Is that? I haven't looked. No, I haven't even looked at it. It's 36.5 is the total.
Oh, their whole philosophy really, and they'll tell you that, is like, yes, do enough on a complementary football, right? So if the defense is extraordinary, which it is, and the special teams are extraordinary, which it is, and if you're on the 37-yard line, you don't need to try to take a risk to get the ball downfield because Tate Sandell will hit from 54, then that's what you do. So, yes, take the damn under, man, no doubt.
This is Kirk Ferentz's dream scenario. A total in the mid-30s. Jeez. Dari Nowkhah is with us. Wow. But that does speak to how good both of these defenses at times have been. And I think Oklahoma is the best defense in the SEC. So what has made them so good this year, Dari, on that side of the ball?
Oh, Brent Venables is special. But it's not only is it his play calling, which is incredibly creative. You watch the movement before the snap. It's almost as fun as actually watching the plays develop themselves. You've got guys that you knew you'd have. Now, they haven't had our Mason for the last 2.5 ball games, and I don't know that they'll have him for this one either, but there's incredible depth. There's depth at tackle. They've got 2 guys they'll start, Dominic Williams and Grayson Halton, and then they'll rotate in 2 more, David Stone and Jaden Jackson for the next series. They stay fresh that way. They'll rotate their defensive ends. And then they've got a couple of guys that they didn't, you didn't expect to be superstars potentially, and they are. And that's Taylor Wine, number 44, defensive end, and Owen Heineke, a linebacker, at number 38. And that is in addition to veterans like Kobe McKenzie and Kip Lewis. So there's a phenomenal freshman cornerback that, I'm sure LSU will try to test, number 4, Cortland Guillory. But outside of him, they're very experienced in the backfield. So it's a combination of experience, a little bit of pleasant surprises from guys they didn't necessarily expect to get a lot from, and then just extraordinary depth up front. And it starts on that defensive line. They're so good at getting pressure, especially interior pressure, which can blow plays up before they get a chance to get started. But then again, BB is so creative, man. He's so creative on that defensive side.
Couple more minutes here with Dari Nowkhah. That's horrifying against a really bad LSU offensive line. It's just a terrible matchup for the Tigers.
And it looks like a banged up one too, right?
Yeah. They're going to. Their center Braylon Moore is a Virginia Tech transfer, has been their best guy all year. He's not going to play in this game. It's just Ori Williams, who had kind of taken over one of the tackle spots. He's not going to play in this game either. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. The under is very much in play. Yeah. You mentioned special teams, and I do like to ask about the third phase. That's been a problem for LSU. Walk me through, if you would, just the high points there for OU.
Well, let's start with their kicker, Tate Sandell, who's a Groza finalist. He's made his last 22 field goals. He's 7 for 7 from 50 plus, and he's hit 4 from exactly 55 yards. He missed his first field goal of the season. It was against Michigan, and he's made 22 since. He's got and I'm telling you, man, you remember like the arena goalposts, how skinny they are?
Oh yeah.
You could use that, and he'd probably still be 22 for 23. He is down the middle. They trust him with any situation 55 and in, any of it, and he'll probably hit. So they've got him, which buys your offense a lot of leash because you don't have to take those chances if you're on that 34, 35, 36-yard line. You'll take the 3 points. The second thing is their punter, Grayson Miller. He punted 9 times against Missouri. 5 of those went for 50-plus. 4 of those pinned him inside the 20, and 1 late in the fourth quarter, a big one inside the 10. He's been great all year. He's a transfer from Central Oklahoma. Cover teams have been good. They did give up 1 punt return touchdown against Texas, Ryan Niblett. Outside of that, they've been sensational. And Satania, as a return guy, he's had a couple of fumbles in those scenarios, 1 big one against Ole Miss. But he is so fast and explosive that if he gets that, if he's able to return it, look out. So special teams is a real plus for Oklahoma.
Hey, Dari, before you go, time very much appreciated. I think we've probably already touched on it plenty, but what do you think is Brent Venables' blueprint on Saturday to get a win and very likely punch a ticket to the playoff?
Yeah, I think it's make Michael Van Buren very, very uncomfortable with, again, a lot of creative looks. If Van Buren thinks he's going to drop back and take off up the middle, he's not. Interior pressure is going to be key. You can see that, in other games that they've played. So I think it's heat him up from all angles. That's BB's thing. Never let him know where you're coming from. Keep him uncomfortable in the pocket. It worked beautifully against Ty Simpson in Tuscaloosa. And I think you ride that defense and special teams. And if your offense can give you, 2 touchdowns, then I think he thinks he's got a really good chance to win, and he's probably right.
Get him on Twitter at ESPN.Dari. Of course, see Dari Nowkhah on the SEC Network, but you also hear him on the ref there, Norman and OKC, talking about the Sooners every single day. Hey, man, we always appreciate it. Thanks for the time. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
Hey, you as well, and I look forward to talking to you on my show tomorrow morning. Thanks, buddy.
We'll do it, man. We appreciate it. That is Dari Nowkhah hanging out with us here for a couple of minutes. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Again, you can log on to firstsouthland.com. We're nearing the end of the year. Maybe you're thinking about that tax write-off. You're buying timber property, recreational timber property could be a great opportunity for a tax strategy. Talk to your CPA to see if that's something that might make sense. Or maybe, right now you're in hunting season and you're tired of sharing that lease. This is a good time to call our friends over at First South Farm Credit to start that process toward owning your own land. It's First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. Land's a finite resource, y'all. It ain't never going down in value and they ain't making more of it. So you want to get your own. First South Farm Credit can help. firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. Pretty remarkable story with Mansoor Delane, who today was named a Thorpe finalist. I want to put some perspective on this. We'll do it next, and then Lee Sterling in about 15 minutes with his best bets for the week. Don't move. It's AFR.
After further review.
Rolling through toward the holidays, and I know whenever we get past Thanksgiving, especially when we get to like the middle of December, a lot of people start to coast toward the end of the year. You take a lot of time off. You spend time with family. You're putting 2025 to bed. Starting to think about 2026. Okay, if that's where you are, then you need to get in touch with Glow Resources now. Glow Resources, home base is right here in Baton Rouge in New Orleans, but they've got offices all over the Southeast, and they serve businesses all over the country. It doesn't matter what job you're trying to fill. These are permanent solutions. They're trying to find you, not a temp staff. This isn't a temp staffing agency. They're trying to find you permanent solutions for that hard-to-hire job. You need to get in touch with Glow Resources and see how they can help make your business more efficient by finding the right people. GLO, glowresources.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Big shout out as always to our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. You can always visit sunequip.com. They're turning Black Friday green over at Sunshine. Great deals as well. 10% off John Deere tractor toys and their riding toys over at Sunshine. Kids love to ride around the yard in their big green tractor. You can do that. Great opportunity this Christmas to have that green tractor under the tree. Sunshine, 10% off all toys here as Black Friday turns green over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. The Jim Thorpe Award has recognized their 3 finalists. Of course, the Jim Thorpe Award goes to the best defensive back in college football. And the 3 finalists are Caleb Downs from Ohio State, Leonard Moore from Notre Dame, and Mansoor Delane from LSU. So, first of all, I think this is pretty remarkable here for Delane. In a season where he has largely not even been targeted at all because he has just shut down one side of the field. I remember very similarly the year Patrick Peterson won the Thorpe in 2010. It was actually Mo Claiborne that had the better stats because nobody looked at Patrick Peterson. He had 2 years of dominance, and so teams were like, just don't throw it 7. Go to the other side of the field. Of course, a year later, Claiborne won the Thorpe in 2011. But it is it's something that Delane taking on everybody's number one, and he talked about this last week. He talked about this as something that he really embraced, being the guy to go shut down one side of the field.
I live for that challenge. That's why I came to LSU. That's why, I grew up to play this game, is to thrive in those moments and show up when your name's called. And that's how you make a name for yourself. Not, when nobody's looking at you or the game's not depending on you, but what are you going to do when, the game's on the line and, you get to play for your brothers and people are looking for you to, step up.
The other thing about Delane that I find to be pretty fascinating here is, and we learned this week, but Mansoor Delane has been playing with a core injury. And so he sat out the game against Western Kentucky this past weekend. And as I sort of understand it, it was very much one of those precautionary things where you realize he's got a future. Like, he's got millions of dollars on the line. And he's been playing with this injury for a while, and so it was an opportunity to shut it down, a game against Western Kentucky that you were going to win anyway. So, it got a little dicey. But even still, Delane, the stats aren't going to pop. He's got on the season 41 tackles, just 2 interceptions, 10 pass breakups, 12 passes defensed. But it's really been, the opportunities that when teams, sometimes foolishly, even throw at him, he's only been targeted 34 times the entire season. I mean, in 11 games this year, he's been targeted 34 times. So you think about it, it's an average of 3 times. Like against Clemson, they went at him 8 times. Florida went at him 6 times, paid the price. Like, that's the most. Louisiana Tech threw at him 4 times. Southeastern didn't throw at him once. Ole Miss only threw at him twice. South Carolina threw at him twice at the game-ending play that he had the PBU. Vanderbilt only threw at him 1 time. Texas A&M and Alabama, A&M threw at him twice. Alabama threw at him 4 times. I mean, and on 34 targets, he's only given up 13 catches. On 34 targets, he's given up 13 catches. He's been insane. And he's the best cornerback in the country. It's why everybody in the draft, everybody's got him as a first-round pick in the draft. So it's remarkable the season he's had. And as I learned yesterday, or Monday, when I went over to the football ops building, as I was walking in, Mansoor Delane and his dad were walking out. They were having meetings with the coaching staff. So, I mean, it's pretty standard, right, as he's preparing for the draft and all that stuff. And there's scouts and all different types of stuff all over the building. And when I asked about this abdominal issue, it turns out Delane has had this abdominal issue since fall camp. And instead of shutting it down, he wanted to go battle for a starting job, which ultimately we know he won. He's your best cornerback, clearly. But it's amazing that he has basically been managing this medically. He has played this well with this issue all year that he's just been managing pain tolerance with treatment. I mean, I don't think Mansoor Delane is going to win the Thorpe. I think he is certainly the best cornerback in the country. I think Caleb Downs is going to win this award because we see this all the time with these national awards. You have to have a lot of name recognition before you can win the award. Look, Grant Delpit was the best defensive back in college football in 2018. He didn't win the Thorpe. He won it the next year in 2019 when he didn't have as good a year, largely because he was battling injury. We've all been aware of Caleb Downs for 2 years. Since he started at Alabama, now he's been at Ohio State. Caleb Downs is likely going to win this award. Let's just be very honest with it. But that doesn't detract from the fact that Delane, who the stats don't pop because he hasn't been targeted really at all this year and doing it while battling injury, is just remarkable. So, I mean, that's one where LSU in the portal very clearly hit. They went and found a guy they thought was the best defensive back in the portal. They got him to Baton Rouge. Corey Raymond coached him up and turned him into what's going to be a first-round pick and did it while battling an injury this year. So, congrats to Mansoor Delane, Thorpe Award finalist. Those, of course, be announced at the College Football Awards show. It'll likely be Caleb Downs, but Downs, Leonard Moore from Notre Dame, and Mansoor Delane are your 3 Thorpe Award finalists, and very well-deserved there for the LSU senior. All right, it's after further review, y'all. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Lee Sterling, usually with us on Thursday. No show on Thanksgiving, so he'll join us here when we come back. Lee Sterling's best bets for the football weekend. We'll get to it next on AFR.
After further review.
If you haven't done it yet, call River City's 1 hour air. And, we're kind of jockeying back and forth now between heater and AC. And yesterday in our bedroom, the AC, for whatever reason, the humidity was high. So Erica begged me, she said, please call River City's 1 hour air today. Haven't done it yet, so I actually need to do that. Maybe I'll do that at the break. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out. Remember, when you call River City's 1 hour air, you are always going to have a living, breathing human answer the phone. You're not going to a call center. You're not going to some answering service. You're not going to be answered by a robot or by AI. They have a living, breathing human that you're going to talk to. So if you call right now, try it. It's 443. They'll always answer the phone. 752-0001, 752-0001. They'll come out nights and weekends. But call right now. Schedule your preseason heater safety check. Maybe it's 80 degrees today. Got an issue with your AC. They'll come out and help. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001. Whether they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Place your bets, gentlemen.
It's time to head to the window.
Don't gamble it all in one place.
This is Lee Sterling's Best Bets, brought to you by Paramount Sports.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Sean Salisbury is coming up here in about 15 minutes from right now. We'll miss Lee on Thanksgiving Day, so let's get those bets in right now. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, joins us. How are you, man?
I'm good. Can't complain, except for my Twitter/X being hacked/hijacked. Ooh. Everything else is good. So if you get a DM from me, it was hacked 5 days ago, to vote for me on some Spotify, Apple thing, just don't click the link. Please don't.
I did get that DM.
Okay.
I'm very glad I didn't click the link. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. All right. Sorry to hear that, man. That sucks.
It's all right. We'll get it back.
Yeah, hopefully it gets rectified.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump into it, man. Tulane, possibly an eye on the college football playoff. They're a big favorite over Charlotte. 30? It's a big number, Lee. What are we thinking here?
It is. Prior head coach of this 1-11 straight-up team that averaged 13 points per game often spoke of how faith in God drove the program. Well, blessings from above are in effect here. Number Georgia took it easy on the 49ers because they were looking ahead to Georgia Tech in playoff games. I don't know if number 24 Tulane is going to be so nice here. How about this? They played 3 different quarterbacks. The best quarterback has a 4-2 touchdown to interception ratio. Their leading rusher for the year has 256 yards and 1 touchdound here. I think Tulane wins this game by 40 here, 15-10.
Okay. Big number. Tulane with the cover. Tennessee Vandy is going to be fascinating. Lee, did I see this is the first time in the history of this series both teams are ranked? Well, Vandy maybe needs a little help, but with a win, they got an argument for the college football playoff. Vols are a 2.5-point favorite. How do you like it?
Yeah, if they win this game, I think they should be in. And a couple of teams like Utah have no business being there. They gave up 470 yards rushing last week to a team that was like at 500. So crazy. Now, last year they lost 36-23 at home to Tennessee. And it wasn't as close as the score would indicate. They were outstatted, 528 to 212. So they're going to have to play much better. Here's the problem. Tennessee goes fast. Number 13th in fastest paced offenses, average 73 plays. Vandy just doesn't have that depth on defense to rotate enough players here. So I think they've closed the gap here. But is it enough to stop Joey Swagular and his teammates? Maybe not enough. I like Tennessee here, 35-28.
That is the first time I've heard Joey Swagular. If that's a thing that's been said all year, I apologize. That's really good.
No, I came up with it.
I love it. Print the T-shirts.
You can use it.
I will. All right. This is one that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, with all the dynamics around Lane Kiffin. Okay, you have a feel some way, so let me know what you're thinking here. Rebs are a 7.5-point road favorite in Starkville.
Well, obviously, the Lane Kiffin whole situation has to be that, I don't know, you could say it's like a gray cloud hanging over the team, probably worse. These kids are talking about it, their families. It is a huge distraction. Now you got to play your biggest rival on the road. I think Trinidad Chambliss has kind of leveled off here. Now you see why, he's not an NFL prospect, look good for 3 or 4 weeks, and they can spot his tendencies here, and teams are game planning against him here. I think Mississippi State's going to throw the kitchen sink at him here. Stark Vegas is going to be absolute nuts here. I think Ole Miss escapes 34-31. Wouldn't shock me if Mississippi State wins the game.
Okay. That's going to be a fascinating theater. Every LSU fan is going to be watching 11 a.m. on Friday. Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. Do not go to his Twitter, especially DMs right now. Right. We hope you get it back. Rivalry weekend, a couple of other big ones, Lee. How about A&M and Texas? Is another team obviously playing not only for the college football playoff, but for a berth in the SEC championship. Aggies at Horns. A&M, a 2.5-point road favorite. They get it done?
What did you think the line was going to be in this game, or what do you think it should have been?
I thought it would be bigger, but I would assume maybe some of the point spread value for Texas has shifted because of the way they've played offensively the past few weeks. That's
right. So I just put the estimate of the line on Sunday morning. I guess the line, and then I see what it is. And I put out 4.5 is what the line should be. They're going to make it 2.5. Bingo.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're tempting me here, but I think Texas is good. I don't know if they're good enough here. I think Texas A&M is better in almost every single position here. Since that Ohio State game, Texas defense, last 3 games, they played Vandy, gave up 31. Georgia, 35. And Arkansas, 37. And in that game last week, I know that they're probably looking ahead a little bit to Texas A&M, but the problem is it wasn't any short fields. It wasn't any turnovers. So that's a problem here. Texas's weakness is their offensive line. Texas A&M, number 2 in the nation with 39 sacks, and Concepcion and Craver, 99 receptions, averaging almost 16 and 17 yards a reception. Even their third guy, Ashton Bethel-Roman, he's averaging almost 25 yards a reception here. I like A&M. They get revenge for last year, 38-31.
Big there for A&M. That would, of course, punch their ticket to the SEC championship game for the first time. And then Tigers head up to Norman. This is the first. LSU, know you've played some big games, playoff games, championship games in the past, but never in Norman, where the Sooners, Lee, I think you'd agree, a win here for OU probably punches their ticket to the playoff, motivated team, and they're a 10-point home favorite.
Yep. And LSU, totally won last week. This offense, how do you lay that many points, with an offense that just nothing? 13 against Western Kentucky, 23 now against Arkansas. I don't know what was worse. Michael Van Buren, nice backup. That's it. He's not the answer here. OU has faced Michigan and held them to 13. Faced Texas, held them to 23, and one was a touchdown on a punt return here. Alabama to 21 on the road. Missouri last week, 6 here. Their offense isn't great. I'm going to hold my nose. Oklahoma wins and covers 28-13.
All right. Look, if I don't know how LSU's going to – I was joking in the press box Saturday, Lee, that I don't know that LSU's going to get a first down against Oklahoma.
Well, the over-under is probably 10.5. They're going to have to get a turnover deep in OU's territory to score a touchdown.
Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. Game of the week is the Iron Bowl, Alabama-Auburn. How do people get it?
Yep. Just call 800-400-9741. Love this game. Alabama-Auburn, 800-400-9741. And how about this? It is not Thanksgiving. We call it the Turkey Shootout, the world-famous Turkey Shootout, 15 games from Thanksgiving Day all the way through Sunday. We had a 14-1 record one year on this promotion. Had a couple 13-2, 12-3, and 11-4 records. 15 games the entire weekend starting Thursday. Just $97, one place, ParamountSports.com.
ParamountSports.com. Of course, you can get the Iron Bowl, 800-400-9741, 800-400-9741. Happy Thanksgiving, Lee. Thanks for the time.
You too, buddy. Take care.
Of course. We appreciate you for being flexible with us. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels. Find jewelry from Lee Sterling to Lee Michaels. And maybe with the money you win betting Lee Sterling's picks, you can go spend it on jewelry at Lee Michaels. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 10 locations in all. 2 in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard in Bocage, in the Mall of Louisiana. Of course, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, online, LMFJ.com. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. Okay, y'all, hour 3 kicking off, coming up right after Sports Center.
AFR.
It is not too late, y'all. We are here on Tuesday. We are 2 days away from Thanksgiving. If you're hitting the road for Thanksgiving and you need some work done to your vehicle, still time to bring it to Shawbills. Maybe before you hit the road for that family vacation or to go across the country to see your family this Thanksgiving, you need new tires. Get them at Shawbills. You want name brand tires at wholesale prices? You go to Shawbills. Use your Shawbills credit card. They always have deep discounts. You can go to the website, hit the promotions tab, and you'll see all the specials they have, how they combine the manufacturer's offer with their own in-house offer to get you the best price possible. They guarantee it. Buy tires at Shawbills. You see them advertised cheaper somewhere else, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. Shawbills just is not going to be beat on price. And they're going to treat you like family, and they can do your oil change and your tire rotations and all the service that you need for your vehicle. So schedule service or shop tires at ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.